making money from across the border. They admitted here on India Today, Pitta Karathe, Ghazi Baba, Naeem Khan, all of them here on India Today investigation admitted that money is coming to them. They are using that money to foment unrest in the valley, target government school, government institutions, and now what we tell you is the terror route. Now, what they admitted on the sting operation is that the money is coming via Dubai, via Delhi, and here's another admission exposed here on India Today, how these separatists are being funded by Pakistan across the line of control trade route. Now, that's a trade route that's been opened as a goodwill gesture by India, which has once again been taken for granted by Pakistan, backstabbing India. My colleague Shuja getting you the ground report.
The cross-LOC trade in Uri and in Poonch was started in 2008, and it was seen as an important confidence-building measures between the two sides. Now, ever since then, the traders have at several occasions asked the government to initiate steps to improve this trade. Steps like finding an alternate to barter system and installing full-body scanners at the trade locations. But the government has failed to do all of this, which could have led to making the entire trade more foolproof and more useful. With cameraman Roof Shujaul Haq in Uri for India Today.
Day by day, people got attracted towards this LOC trade, because LOC trade in this remote area also gives a benefit to those who are not engaged or employed anywhere. There has been always to all authorities a very continuous demand that scanning and security shall remain the priority. The atmosphere which prevails creates doubts, and in order to dispel that impression, things should be carried out in a very peaceful, and security scenario should be up to date.
Here's the first question. You've seen the ground report, and here's the big question. What exactly is the modus operandi of the LOC terror trade? How does it work? How does it all work? Where is the money coming from? We're talking about, remember, 500 crore being sent across the border in 7 years to these separatists. Now, let's take you through it step by step. Let's take you through it. First, in Jammu and Kashmir, this is the barter trade point. The area, there are two trade terror routes, which are the barter trade point. There's a barter trade between India and Pakistan, and from there, the money comes in. And the goods coming in violation of pact, goods reach Amritsar, Jammu and Delhi. So goods are reaching from the line of control trade route to Jammu, Amritsar and Delhi. Now let's take you through how it all happens, because there's a slush of funds that is generated by selling these goods. Now this is nothing short of a sleight of hand, you can call it, by traders. So what happens is that Pakistan Army gives Pak traders the money. Now they are funding the Pak traders to ensure that extra goods are sent to India. How does it help? For example, there's a consignment of 8 tons of fruits and nuts that is coming across. Now, what they will do is they will show that it's 8 tons, but only they will show it 8 tons, but they will sell 9 tons in the market. The extra money that's generated will go to separatists in the valley. This is one of the ways in which they are funding terror. And hence, this is the second big question that we are talking about. Why no crackdown on this mechanism? It's been on since 2008. Why no crackdown on cross-border trade terror network? 2008 is when India, in its goodwill gesture, had said that cross-border barter trade will be allowed, but still no crackdown on that. Let me go across to our guest in the studio, and also my colleague Sudhir Ranjan, who is joining us at the moment. Sudhir, this is the big question to you as we make our way back here in the studio. First up, take us through it. Why there hasn't been any crackdown on cross-border terror trade network since 2008?
Well, to begin with, this started, as Shuja was reporting from the ground, it started as a confidence-building measure. The barter trade is limited to 21 items, and these 21 items are basically items that are grown in these areas, that is, areas in the valley or in Jammu and Kashmir, broadly, or those in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. This was meant to facilitate people-to-people contact and some trade between the two sides. That was the idea behind it. Now what happens is there is under-invoicing of goods that is happening, in the sense, as we have been reporting, that goods that are valued much higher, the value when it is being declared, when it's coming across the border, is undervalued or understated. Now, as a result of which goods, say suppose worth 100 rupees, is sent off or sent across the border as goods worth 10 rupees. The 90 rupees headroom, or the difference that is generated, therefore, by selling the goods in India is off the books, or there is no record of it, so to say. And this 90 rupees is then brought back, or rooted back into the valley, and then these find these go into the hands of the separatists, the stone pelters, and also terrorists. That's the part that is being investigated. Now, there have been from time to time questions raised about it. The security agencies, we know for a fact, have already flagged and told the government that you need to turn this into normal trade.
Yes.
That means you have customs and immigration barriers. Last year, because of the unrest that we saw in Kashmir after the death of Burhan Wani, the Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist, also we saw, or we know for a fact, that the Jammu Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti did make a request to the government. Now, what is the problem of the government in turning it into a normal trade? The problem is, as soon as you put in a customs and an immigration barrier, it amounts to accepting Pakistan's control over Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Because you only have customs and immigration barriers on your recognized international borders. Now, as India, we do not accept this to be the international border. It's only the line of control.
Yes.
Or the holding positions of the two respective armies. So that is where the problem arises in turning this into a normal trade. What Shuja has also raised from the ground, that there are no scanners, and the fact that this is supervised by local officials and there is no customs officials, also goes back to this entire problem. However, one can definitely have scanners, whole body truck scanners, which will be able to let you know what kind of goods, what is the amount of goods that are coming in. That is perhaps the next step that we need to do.
All right, Sudhi, be with me, because we also have Brigadier Mahalingam in the studio, saying good evening to him, and also RP Singh, who is the National Secretary of the BJP. Now, before we take our third question, Brigadier Mahalingam, I want to come to you. What Sudhir Ranjan is saying is that have scanners. Of course, we can't put a customs check post, because that would mean giving legitimacy to Pakistan in Pak-occupied Kashmir. Have scanners, 2008, significant time has passed, almost a decade now. What are we waiting for?
See, the point is that this is not a new phenomena. 2008 October we started. Right in September 2011, the J&K government came out and said that 48 people were involved in this type of trade and laundering of money. Then of that, 4 people were specifically singled out, and they said that these are the people who have contact with Hizbul Mujahideen and Lashkar-e-Toiba. Thirdly, they also said that 7.3 million rupees and one check of 1 lakh of rupees have been recovered. Therefore, it was known right at that time. Subsequently, in 2013, the NIA came out and said that Hizbul Mujahideen had received 80 lakhs of rupees because of this trade. It again was brought out. So basically,
multiple warnings.
Basically, it is not that nobody knew about it. Everyone knew about it. But unfortunately, we lack the will to come and crack down on this. The point that we must remember is that this particular scheme was started as a confidence building measure. When this confidence building measure failed to do this job and became an instrument for funding terror, I think somebody ought to have recognized that and stopped this trade altogether. But that unfortunately did not happen.
Absolutely, and that brings us to the next big question that we are asking in this edition. Well, is it now time to completely put an end to the barter trade at the line of control? Is it now time that India takes the first step, $10 billion in trade between India and Pakistan, where formal and informal trade together constitute that number? Is it now time to at least start with the first step, end the barter trade at line of control? RP Singh, your party is an alliance with the PDP in Jammu and Kashmir. Before this also, there's been a demand to remove most favored nation status of Pakistan from India after their Uri and Pathankot betrayal. Is it now time to end the barter trade at the line of control? Will that be a start by the BJP?
I 100% go by your proposal that barter trade should be stopped, because it was done under the confidence building measures, and then today there is no confidence between the Pakistan and India, because the sort of continuous attack which Pakistan is doing in the Kashmir Valley, and then the way they are behaving, there's no need. And then we must congratulate NIA now that first, although there have been no scanners, but at least under NIA scanner this has come, and then the action is being taken now. Action is being thought of. And
Mr.
also,
Singh,
give me
I know your position, Mr. Singh. I just want to bring in one point to highlight this. Mehbooba Mufti, in last year, in fact, in November itself, has asked for more trade routes to be opened between India and Pakistan. Now, how is it that the PDP is walking a different line on the BJP on the matter of national security, sir, especially when it's been proven separatists take money? Mehbooba Mufti says there is a good separatist, there's a bad separatist, engagement continues. We also expose how money is coming through barter route around line of control. You have Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister asking for more trade routes between India and Pakistan.
Well, a lot of water has flowed under Jhelum from last 1 year, and then things have changed, and probably you are not going by the statement which he has stated now recently about the terrorism, about the terror funding and all, and then the way there's a crackdown, because crackdown is not done by central government. The crackdown is because she is this commander of the complete combined forces there, and the way the crackdown is happening on
crackdown is happening. Okay, Mr. Singh, you say crackdown is happening. Brigadier Malingam, are you satisfied with the steps being taken to crack down, as Mr. Singh puts in, on Hurriyat? Why no ban on Hurriyat? Why no strict action and a clampdown completely on Hurriyat leaders? You had Mirwais, in fact, tweeting and congratulating Pakistan team for winning semi-finals in Champions Trophy. This is how brazenly they're daring the Indian establishment again and again?
Absolutely. In fact, as I would look at it, this ought to have taken two different directions. One, sort of ending this cross-border trade. If you would see that there is only 1%, total less than 1% of India's global trade that is taking place. As you rightly brought out, Pakistan has not sort of reciprocated the most favored nations status which we have given to Pakistan just 1 year after WTO came into existence.
Absolutely, they haven't reciprocated till now.
The worst part of it is, way back in 2014, when Anand Sharma was the Commerce Minister, he was given an assurance by the Pakistan's Commerce Minister that this will happen, and he was to go to Pakistan to make the announcement jointly. But unfortunately, the information that we got was that just a few days before this announcement, Pakistan's military GHQ called for the files, went through it and told a flat no. With the result, this entire thing is collapsed.
So that is the point, Brigadier, because this is where the times that we're living in. We've done an expose to show how separatists are being funded by Pakistan. We've done another expose showing how terror funding route is coming. National Investigation Agency is now taking cognizance of the India Today report as well. These separatist leaders have been questioned as well. But Mr. Singh, when you say the crackdown is happening, so do we also see a harsh step which sends the message home? As Brigadier Mahalingam is pointing out, most favored nation status Pakistan has not reciprocated. Isn't it now time to now clamp down on trade, and also to send a message that if Pakistan continues with terror, not only talks, but trade will also not continue?
See, you must appreciate that this government who has said a clear message to Pakistan that till the time terrorism happens, there will be no talk. I mean, this is the first time it is happening. And also to Hurriyat also. that we are not talking to Hurriyat at all. Although there's a lot of pressure from all the political parties.
I understand that, but the PDP is on the
so much pressure from all the political parties, from all shades of political parties, including Congress and other parties also, that we must talk to Hurriyat.
We're not talking about doves, sir. We're not talking about political doves here. Brigadier Mahalingam wants to come in. I have very limited time.
Sir, I just wanted to bring out one thing. The second route which I said there are two routes. One was the stopping that the trade. And the second route is that the people who are receiving funds, that is the Hurriyat leaders, the so-called separatists, these people are receiving it with impunity.
Absolutely.
What is required?
Absolutely.
What is required is firstly remove their security that you are providing to them.
Absolutely.
Secondly, more than enough evidence is available with the Enforcement Directorate as also with the NIA, with regard to the amount of money that have come into the hands of these people. Please investigate this.
Absolutely.
Thirdly, whatever money has come into their hands, please explore as to how this money has been expended or spent.
That has been, in fact, that has been the basis of the India Today investigation also, Brigadier.